Hello everyone, you are welcome to Study by Yourself. This is Sir Prince, and in this video I'm going to take past questions with you. We are going to solve the past questions together. I'm going to go through the questions first of all. So as I go through the questions, you answer them on your sheet. So this is a basic education certificate examination for school candidates, also known as BECE exam. Okay, so question 1. The figure below shows a simple electric circuit. Use it to answer question 1 and 2. So looking at this circuit, we are supposed to answer question 1 and 2. The switch is represented by so it is represented by C. Yes, C. That's what it is represented by. It's represented by C. So number 2. The component labeled V is E or AN. So the component labeled V, this one over here. So looking at it, it's labeled, the component is called, it's also C. It's a lamp. It's a lamp. Yes, it's a lamp. So the next question. A body of mass 50 kg falls through a height of 5 meters. If the acceleration due to gravity is 10 meters per second squared, calculate its potential energy. Now, potential energy is denoted by mass times gravity times height. So this is the mass, this is the height, and then the value for the gravity is this. So what you are supposed to do, you are supposed to multiply 50 by 5 by 10. So 50 by 10 is giving us 500. 500 times 5 is going to give us, sorry about that, 500 times 5 is going to give us 2,500. So 2,500 joule. So our answer is D. That's number 3. In an experiment with a variegated leaf, or which a variegated leaf is used, which of the following prove to be necessary for photosynthesis? A variegated leaf is a leaf which is separated from light. It's not allowed to see light. So if it's not allowed to see light, so it's saying that which of the following is proved to be necessary for photosynthesis? Is light. So the answer is B. B. Which of the following food substances is not oxidized during respiration? It's not oxidized during respiration. So the answer to this question is cellulose. During oxidation, cellulose has nothing to do. So cellulose is not oxidized. So question 6. The process of respiration could be represented by the following equation. The process of respiration could be represented by the following equation. Glucose plus oxygen, then you have Y, then you have water plus carbon dioxide plus X. What does X represent? What does X represent? So this is a formula for respiration. So you have water, carbon dioxide, and then X. So X, looking at the options, X represents heat, because that is what is produced during respiration. Heat is produced during respiration. So the answer is C. The next question, which of the following disease is caused by fungus? The disease caused by fungus: typhoid, leprosy, ringworm, measles, dysentery. So the answer is ringworm. Ringworm. Which of the following diseases will result from eating improperly cooked meat? Improperly cooked meat will result in tapeworm infection. Which of the following diseases is contracted through infected wounds? Tetanus. Tetanus. Which of the following is lost when sweat evaporates from the body? When sweat evaporates from the body, heat energy is lost. The energy possessed by a compressed spring is air. Spring which is compressed. The energy possessed by a compressed spring. If the spring is compressed, it's not moving. It's potential energy. Potential energy. A ball is dropped from a height to the ground. The energy possessed by the ball just before it strikes the ground is called, before it strikes the ground it is moving, so kinetic energy. Question 13. Which of the following substances breaks down fat into tiny droplets during digestion? So it's bile. Bile emulsifies fat or breaks it down into tiny droplets during digestion. Question 14. The volume of a metal ball was determined by dropping it into a measuring cylinder containing 20 cm³ of water, and the level of water rose to 35 cm³. If the mass of the ball is 35 grams, calculate its density. Now, for you to get the density of a substance, you need to know the mass and the volume as well. Over here, you were given the mass to be in 35 grams. And then the volume was also given to be in 25 cm³ and 35 cm³. Now, what you were given here is not the volume of the ball. In the determination of the volume of an irregular object, you need to dip it into liquid and then measure the difference in the change in the volume of the liquid. So what we are supposed to do to get the volume of the ball is that we are supposed to subtract the initial volume, which is 20 cm³, from the final volume, which is 35 cm³. So 35 minus 25 is going to give us 15. So this is the volume of the ball. Now density is giving us mass over volume. So 35 divided by 15. When you do the division very well, you are going to get 2.333. So the answer is D. D. A mixture of raw starch and water is best separated by decantation. Now the starch is gel-like, so the density of the starch is greater than the density of the water. So the starch will settle in the water, so the water will be on top. So you have to just gently pour the water off the starch, and you have the gel starch below. The planet in our solar system, which has the largest orbit, simply means that the planet which is farthest away from the sun, all the planets are going around the sun. So there is this mnemonic to remember the planet. My very eyes may just see under 9. Initially it was 9 planets, but because Pluto is no more a planet. So which of them has the largest orbit? Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. So the one which is here is, I think, Jupiter. Jupiter is the farthest. Looking at the answers listed here. So the answer is A, Jupiter. The farthest away a planet is from the sun. The colder the planet, the hotter the planet, the shorter the time it takes to go around the sun, the shorter the length between the day and the night. The colder the planet. So the next question. Which of the following statements about machines is or are true? The commonest and simplest machine is the lever. Okay, that's true. The efficiency of a machine is the ratio of work output to work input. Okay. The efficiency of a machine is usually less than 1. That's also true. Machines make working much easier and convenient. That's also true. So they are all true. Yes, they are all true. So the answer is E. E. I, and having. The washing away of the topsoil by running water is called erosion. Which of the following types of soil allows the fastest rate of drainage? Allows water to drain through it easily is the sandy soil because it has large air spaces, because the particles which make up the sandy soil are big. Leguminous crops such as beans may be cultivated to add nitrogen to the soil. They add nitrogen to the soil. What is the work done when a force of 2.5 Newton moves through a distance of 4 meters? Now the formula for work is force times distance. So the force multiplied by the distance. So the force over here is 2.5 Newton. The distance is 4 meters. So to get, you just have to multiply the 2.5 by the 4. So over here, what I'll do is I'll take off the decimal point. So I'm going to get 100. And I'll introduce the decimal point. So the decimal point will be here. So 10.0 joule. The units, SI unit for work is joule. During athletics, a boy slipped on a banana peel on the ground and fell. This is because there was no friction. There was friction, he wouldn't have fell. The female part of a flower is called. The filament, the petal, the pollen grain, the sepal, and the style. The style. Atmospheric pressure is measured with a barometer. So the following structures regulate the amount of light that enters the eye. This is the retina. The angle between a ray of light and the surface it strikes is 30 degrees. Calculate the angle of incidence. This is better. Okay, so this is the normal. That's the normal. So the angle between a ray of light and the surface it strikes. So this is the surface and this is the light. So the angle between the surface and then the light is 30. So this angle is making 90. This angle is making 90. If it's making 90, then the angle of incidence is 60. And we know that the angle of incidence equals to the angle of reflection. Okay, so this is 60. So the angle of incidence is definitely 60 degrees. Which of the following is not a function of the lens in a human eye? It allows light to pass through it. It refracts the light rays passing through it. It helps to focus the image onto the retina. It becomes thinner when focusing a distant object. It reflects part of the light rays falling on it. So the following is not a function of the lens in a human eye. Which of the following is not a function of the lens in the eye? The answer is E. It reflects part of the light rays falling on it. Question 29. Starch is digested and absorbed into the blood as glucose. Glucose is the simplest form of carbohydrate. Digestion of protein starts in the stomach. So the answer is E. Plants lose water through a process called transpiration. So 32. Which of the following characteristics are common to all living things? Response to stimuli, yes. Respiration, yes. Movement from place to place, no. Plants do not move from place to place. Then even growth. All living things grow. So the answer is I, and Ivan. So the answer is D. Which of the following statements about bacteria is true? All infections are caused by bacteria. No. Most bacteria are harmless to man. Yes. Sterilization does not kill bacteria. No. So which of the following statements is true? Sterilization does not kill bacteria is not true. So the one which is true over here is most bacteria are harmless to man. It's true. So the answer is B. I only. 34. An example of disease transmitted through air is disease transmitted through air. Bilharzia, no. Cholera, no. Measles, yes. Typhoid, no. So the answer is C. So when an object moves from a rough surface onto a smooth one with the same energy, its speed will increase. Yes, its speed will increase. 36. A piece of stone sinks in water because the answer is D. Its density is greater than that of water. Then 37. During an eclipse of the moon means that the light from the sun is obstructed from falling on the moon. So it means the earth is in the middle. Anytime you hear eclipse of the moon, eclipse of the sun. So light does not fall on the moon. So the sun and the moon are on one side of the earth. No. The earth and the sun are on one side of the moon. Okay, the sun comes between the earth and the moon. No. The earth comes between the sun and the moon in a straight line. The answer is D. 38. Which of the following statements about machines is or are correct? The following statements about machines is or are correct. Machines help us to do work easily. A force applied at one point of a machine overcomes a load at another point of the machine. All machines have engines. All machines do not have engines. So I is correct. I is also correct. So answer is D. D. 39. The following soil types can hold the least amount of water. It's clay soil because it has smaller air spaces and the particles are very tiny and fine. Legumes are generally included in crop rotation because A, they are easy to uproot in preparation of no. They are able to fix atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. Yes. So number 40 is B. Now these are questions which are likely to appear in your BECE because they are questions which have been repeated. Upon careful or thorough examination of the past questions, these are questions you are likely to find. But I would like us to do a review on the topics so that we take note of the topics which are most likely to be repeated at the objective session. Because when you go to the past question, you realize that there are certain topics which are always repeated. You always see them. And that's why this tutorial was made. So I'll urge you to watch till the end so that you see the topics and take note of them. So let's go back to the beginning. Okay, so number 1, for example, number 1 and number 2, electrical energy. So you can note it down, electrical energy. These 2 questions are based on electrical energy. Then number 3 is based on energy again. So we have electrical energy, and this one is energy as a topic. So if there's potential energy, you can also take note of kinetic energy, the calculation. So in an experiment or in whichever variegated leaf. So experiment to prove or show that certain conditions are necessary for photosynthesis to take place. Mostly you find this at the section B. So the topic for number 4 is photosynthesis. The following food substances not oxidized. So digestion. The process of respiration could be represented. So respiration, especially the formula, the equation for respiration as well as photosynthesis. Which of the following diseases is caused by fungus? Now, almost every past question, integrated science has questions on infectious diseases, their symptoms, microorganisms which cause them, and so on. So you can take note of that and then go through them. The same here. Which of the following diseases will result from eating improperly cooked meat? Infectious diseases again. Which of the following diseases contracted through infected wounds? Infectious diseases again. What type of energy is lost when sweat evaporates from the body? So energy again. So you should know the energy transformations. The energy processed by a compressed spring. Energy again. So know the energy transformations, types of energy. A ball is dropped from a height. So energy again. So the following statements breaks down fats. We've already mentioned digestion. So the volume of a metal ball. Over here, density. So you should know the calculation for density. Know the units. Know that anytime you are giving grams, you calculate grams with centimeter cube. And when you are giving in kilogram works with meter. And you should know the conversion so that when you are giving, for example, you are giving the mass in kilogram, you are giving the volume in cm cube. You know that you are supposed to convert the kilogram to grams. Then question 15, separation of mixtures. You find question on separation of mixtures in almost every question, almost every year. The planets, so the solar system as well. Number 17 to deals with the solar system. Then question 18 is about machines. So know about machines, read about friction and how to calculate for velocity ratio, mechanical advantage, and the formula for efficiency. There are about 2 or 3 formulas for calculating the efficiency of a machine. So 19, the washing away of the topsoil by running water is called. Washing away of the topsoil by running water is called. Now, this question is dealing with soil, so you should take note of questions on soil as well. Question 20. Which of the following types of soil allows the fastest rate of drainage? This one is also on soil. Leguminous crops such as beans may often be cultivated too. So this question is also on farming system, which is especially crop rotation. So focus on that as well. So what is the work done when a force of 2.5 Newton moves through a distance of 4 meters? Okay, so this one is on work done. You should know that work equals force times distance. And in calculation of work, your force should be in Newton. Okay, force is the unit for force is in Newton, and the distance should be in meters. Now there was a question where they gave the distance in centimeters. You have to convert the centimeters to meters, and this is how it is done. So 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter. So if 100 centimeters equals 1 meter, this is the ratio you need. So if you have this, you know how to do your conversion. During athletics, a boy slipped on a banana peel and fell on the ground. Okay, a boy slipped on a peel on the ground and fell. So over here is also about friction. The female part of a flower is called this on flowering plants. 25 atmospheric pressure is measured with. So with this question, you have to know the instruments and their use. So the use of an anemometer, thermometer, galvanometer, barometer, voltmeter, ammeter, ohmmeter, hydrometer, and so on. Which of the following structures regulates the amount of light that enters the eye? This is about light. This is also on light. Knowing that the angle of incidence equals the angle of reflection. What are luminous bodies, non-luminous bodies? So 28. There's also a question on how the human eye, light entering and leaving. Starch is digested and absorbed into the blood as. So there's also on digestion. Question 30 as well. Digestion of protein starts in there. There's also digestion. Plant lose water through a process called transpiration. So you should know your photosynthesis as well as respiration very well. So the following characteristics are common to all living things. So this is looking at the life processes. You should know them and know what they mean. So the following statements about bacteria is true. So this question is on infectious diseases. An example of disease transmitted through air. Another one again. When an object moves from a rough surface onto a smooth one with the same energy. So this question is also more of friction. A piece of stone sinks in water because. So there's on density. During an eclipse of the moon. There's on solar system. Then which of the following statements about machines is or are correct? This also on machines. So the following soil types can hold the least amount of water. This is also on soil. Legumes are generally included in crop rotation because they. So you realize that the questions are similar, and every year that's what is done. And in this coming year also, the same thing can be done. So I'll urge you to go through this video over and over again, take notes of the topics, and get acquainted with them.